back to the team that couldn't get much of anything right, although they did make it interesting. The final score, if that's all you see, you think, man, the Bears kicked the crap out of the Commanders. No, it got interesting until Joey Sly misses a field goal that would have made it a 7-point game with enough time left to get the ball back and maybe force overtime. It looked like maybe the Commanders could dig out of the hole they dug for themselves early in the game. Here's Ron Rivera after the game on what happened on what was an ugly night at FedEx Field.
Well, slow start, first and foremost. We did not come out and slow them down. It's something we got to take a long look at and kind of understand why, more so than anything else. We're going to watch the tape. We'll look at what we need to do better. It starts at the top. We've got to be better, and that's on me. And then we got to make sure we're putting in position to be successful.
Look, and I appreciate the head coach taking the responsibility. That's what the head coach has to do. But the bottom line is you got to come out of the gates ready to go. Both teams had tough losses on Sunday. This is one of the points Chris and I got into yesterday. Who's going to recover better from disappointing losses on Sunday on a short week? The psychology of it. The Bears blow the big lead. The Commanders in a position to win the game. They had to go overtime. Maybe that took a little something out of them, playing beyond 60 minutes when you got to turn around on a short week. But the Bears were ready to go last night, Peter. The Commanders were not. And they dug a hole, like I said, that they couldn't ultimately get out of.
The one thing about Washington that, this is how I view the Commanders after 5 weeks. We're now at the quarter pole of the NFL season. I know that's the wrong use of the word quarter pole, and horse racing enthusiasts are all throwing their horseshoes at the screen right now. But we're at the quarter point of the NFL season. And the one thing, there's a lot of things that are surprising because every year there are surprising things. But one of them is that Washington's offense is actually really good. And Washington's defense, which was supposed to carry this team, is putrid. And so you're right when you say that Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera, the two defensive specialists, are in trouble because of that simple fact. But I think this is a franchise that has been looking for a long-term quarterback forever. And this is a franchise now, Joe Gibbs probably his biggest, the biggest thing on his coaching resumes is he won Super Bowls with guys who are not Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And, this now, I'm not saying that Howell is going to be anything. I don't know what he's going to be. All I know is that in the first month of this season, Sam Howell has been a revelation. And Sam Howell is more than any of these young second-year quarterbacks really looks like a seventh-year quarterback. Nothing phases him. He gets sacked. He doesn't get ticked off. He comes back fighting. I think that Howell, as much as if you're a Commanders fan, you've got to be furious this morning with this team. I wouldn't be that furious because you just might have your long-term quarterback.
My only critique of Sam Howell is this. He's got to know when to give up on a play because he's going to get himself hurt fighting for that extra yard or two when he decides to take off with the ball. That's my concern, and that applies across the board to every quarterback. You got to know when to hit the deck and call it a day because that extra effort to get that extra yard gives one of these 270-pound guys a chance to come in and give you the kind of hit that could maybe keep you off the field for a few weeks, if not longer. Okay, one of the things we saw last night, and Magic Johnson, one of the limited partners in the Josh Harris group, has a reputation for being comically obvious on Twitter. And he was comically obvious last night after the game. But he was accurate, and he was pointed, and he pulled no punches when he said this. Tonight the Commanders played with no intensity or fire. We didn't compete in the first half and got down 27-3 heading into halftime. It was too big of a hole to climb out of, and that is why we ended up losing 40-20. And again, there is something that's humorous about a tweet that reflects everything we already know. That's his trademark. That's his thing. He's perfected it, whether he was trying to or not. But the Commanders played with no intensity or fire. Terry McLaurin was asked about that after the game. He says it's a fair assessment. And, Peter, somebody pointed this out to me, and I noticed it as it was happening, but the light didn't go off. Every time they showed Josh Harris in the suite, he was kind of yucking it up and schmoozing, even though they were getting their asses kicked. They showed Magic, who is always smiling. He was not smiling. He was not happy. He was not pleased with what was going on the football field. And I give him credit for calling it out. We rarely see owners call it out like that right after the game. And I know he's not the majority owner, but he's the guy. He's Magic, and he's got a piece of that team. He paid about $240 million for his piece of the team, so he's in it. And he's got a strong voice. He's on the pregame show. He's doing the media rounds. He says no intensity or fire. That's a message to that team, and it's not a good one, Peter.
Josh Harris is in his honeymoon period with the team. It's probably 80% finished now. I think everybody loved him in the summer and early in this season, and because really, Ding Dong Snyder's gone. So everybody loves whoever. It's like the most George Young, the old Giants GM, always used to say, if Phil Simms would have a bad game, he goes, hey, the most popular guy in every city in the NFL is the backup quarterback. Everybody wants him to play when the offense is struggling. And right now, Josh Harris is popular because he's not Daniel Snyder. But, this is something that it was very easy to think that this franchise was going to turn around quickly now that Daniel Snyder was gone. But Mike, let's be honest. Other than Daniel Snyder's obvious role in the drafting of the late Dwayne Haskins, okay, did Daniel Snyder in recent years pick the players? No, we'll go back 2 decades. He picked Deion Sanders and Bruce Smith in free agency, okay, along with Vinny Serrato. But he hasn't been picking these players. You got to look at the personnel staff the last few years right now to try to find where to start, laying the blame for what is going on in Washington. And look, it's all naive to say we got a new owner, we're fine. Okay. Owners really don't do very much, Mike. As you know, once the season starts, what does an owner do? He's Jerry Jones or Robert Kraft, and he's on TV 3 times a game on Fox or CBS. Hello. Let's celebrate. Let's talk to Chris Christie in the box. Let's talk to Bon Jovi in the box. Yeah, that's it. And look, I am on the record without any question. Robert Kraft deserves to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He made the most unpopular decision that an owner could make, and people don't realize it now. But he had people telling him when he hired Bill Belichick, this is the biggest mistake you're ever going to make. I can tell you that happened. And he went against the grain. He said, I don't care. I know this guy. I'm hiring him. We're going to win. But be all that as it may, this owner, he's going to be a good owner for this team. But I think it is vastly overrated. Once the ball gets kicked off after Labor Day, it's vastly overrated whether the owner has anything to do with whether you win or lose football games.
I agree with you completely. Now, Jerry Jones is the general manager of the Cowboys, so he has a little bit more to do than the average owner, but most owners should just be glorified fans who have really good seats and really good food and really good booze during the games. But once the season ends, that's when the owner starts to make the team into whatever the owner's vision of the team is going to be. Because, again, Josh Harris didn't say, I want to buy the Commanders because I really like that Jason Wright, and I really like Martin Mayhew, and I really like Ron Rivera, and I want to employ those people. No. He's going to come in and do what he did, and people have studied what he did with the basketball team, the 76ers, the New Jersey Devils. He gives it some time. He gives the people who are there a chance to show what they can or can't do, and then he makes decisions accordingly. So right now it's pointing to changes being made after the season, and we shouldn't be surprised when it happens because that's how it works. When an asset of that value, when that kind of money is put together, it gives the owner of the team the license to say who's going to be in charge of the most important aspects of the organization during those months where the owner is simply glorified fan. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.